I noticed the search on one of my recent videos was rose-sired eyebrows. Let's do an eyebrow tutorial. Now, something that isn't mentioned a lot is brow texture. I have a very coarse brow texture. I'm talking make a hairbrush out of my brow hair, boar bristle. So products that are really wet, like this one here from NYX, that doesn't work as well for my brow type. And I feel like a lot of times we are picking brow products that aren't meant for our brow texture. Again, this is not a bad product. It's wonderful. It's just not for my texture. Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze is another example, and it's an amazing product. It's just not for my brow texture. It's just a little too heavy, and my brow hair is already too heavy. It's just not right for the texture. But if you have finer, softer brow hair, woo, that's gonna be so pretty. Same for this one, that soft, fine brow hair, this is gonna be amazing, you're gonna love it. Let's get into the tutorial. So the first thing, no matter your brow hair type, texture, we're gonna take translucent powder. Any powder, does not have to be anything special. And the drier your eyebrow hair is, the easier all of this is going to go on. If I was to put this, let me show you. So very quickly, this is with powder. Do you see how that's just going on so nicely? We're not sliding, and it's not even oversaturating the pencil. Got a little skincare here. Say we just did our skincare, okay? We're just doing it. Okay, nice. We can even give it a nice little tap, make it a little more fair. Now our pencil is gonna go on darker, it's gonna be a little patchier, it's gonna be uneven, and then it's not even gonna last the way that it could. All right, let's start over. We're just gonna tap that nice and dry. Translucent powder, you don't need that much. Now I'm gonna start by doing a very harsh line on the top of the brow. And I do like this brow pencil, but you can use any brow pencil. This one's the Kosas Brow Pop Nano, and I'm using medium brown. I do love it, but just use, if you already have a brow pencil, use what you have. I also want you to notice how I'm not bringing that harsh line over here. We're gonna use something else, but for right now, we're gonna do a very harsh line, but just on the top. And the reason why, it's gonna give us really nice definition, but once we brush up our brow hair, it's gonna look so natural and soft because we got that floof kind of hiding that harsh line. So once everything's brushed up, I kind of just look for some more patches that I'm not enjoying, and I'll just lightly fill them in. I will fill in, so this is important. I won't do a line under here. You're gonna see what I'm gonna do. We're walking through this. But what I will do is just fill in this patch, but not from the bottom. See how it's still a little empty there? I don't want to fill that in all the way down. We'll put something else there in a second, but we will fill in these areas. We just don't want to create a line under here. I do my brows myself. I keep them plucked every day, and all I do is pluck. I don't shave them, I don't wax them, I just pluck. I do trim them, but I only trim them once a month, and they don't need trimmed right now. But it has to be a hair that is honestly just trying to reach my hairline here before I trim. I am very careful with trimming, and I still recommend you to go to someone that knows what they're doing. So the next thing we're gonna need is a brow pen. This one has been my favorite. It's from Bodyography. This side is the gel, and we're gonna use that today too. But I love it. I was using the one from Valentino, but I prefer the shape of this one. It's even thinner. Now, remember how we didn't fill in this area? I'm gonna create some hair-like strokes, but this is hard to do on my phone, but I'm gonna start and try to match this other one here. And if you mess up, it's so easy because you just go with your fingernail or brush, or you just tap. So easy. Look at that, how it's starting to match already. Just needs to come up a little bit higher here. Oh, and I was gonna mention the NYX one. I do like that one. Some of the colors, and I can't tell you exactly what colors, some of them do kind of turn green on the skin, and it does leak, but it's much more affordable. So if you do want to kind of participate in this pin situation, the NYX one is nice. Not all of them turn green, and that might have just been a batch that I had. Sometimes that happens. But this one is my absolute favorite currently. Okay, and then we're just gonna go underneath here. Okay, let me explain to you what I'm doing under there. So remember how we didn't wanna draw a harsh line under here? We still wanna create a little bit more shape and thicken up the brow a little bit, but instead of a line under here like this, we are going to just create these natural hair strokes. And we're gonna get the thickness that we're after without the harsh line. And doing this looks so natural because we can't cover this up. This can't be hidden with that top part of the brow. Here's this woolly, I'm looking everywhere. See, remember, that can be hidden. This under here can't. So that's why the hair-like strokes really matter under here. And let me give you a tip on how to hold this. If I want to knock over my water, I'll do that. But if I don't want to do that and I want really light hair strokes, and don't worry, we can always clean that up later. It's actually easier to kind of just mess up on the top and then wipe it away later. But I'm gonna hold it farther back because I'm gonna get really even light strokes. Nice. The farther up that you hold the pin, it's gonna be harsher. I'm gonna show you right here. So you'll see that, and then you'll see holding it farther back, it's just gonna make it really light and really thin. Where you hold your brush or your pin really matters. Now, if you want to ever so lightly, this isn't a must, but it is kind of fun and really soft looking, just create some very light hair strokes the way that the brow hair grows. So up, then we switch to the side. I'm not really doing it, I'm just showing you the motions. Switch to the side, then we go over this way, just the way that brow hair grows. Now, one place on your face, didn't mean for that to rhyme, that tends to just not want a lot of product is actually around your brows and through here. So adding concealer at this moment might not be the best idea. If it's working for you, do it. But for me, I like to use a little bit of micellar water just to ever so lightly clean up instead of adding concealer. If you've never cleaned up your brows with micellar water, just give it a try. So we talked about things that didn't work for my brow texture, and things that do work are this actual brow gel from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Love this one, but there is a trick to it. I like to kind of clean off almost all of that gel. I feel like most applicators and wands, they pick up way too much product for small areas like the brow. So just so you know, this is my brow finished. I go for just a light fluff. I don't really do a lamination, and I just want something that holds, stays in place, and just looks light and fluffy. I'm going to mention another product I like, the Too Faced Fluff and Hold, but this one can be a little tricky. I feel like this one might be a little better for people that are just a little bit further along in their makeup journey. I would absolutely, again, clean off every single bit of product. I actually have this on this brow, but I wanted to show you the other brow gel in the other one. But this is what this does. It just lightly sculpts, holds, and fluffs. Fluff and hold. I thought on this brow, I would use this. Again, even though this is a tiny little applicator, it's still gonna have quite a bit of product on it. We're gonna start in the front, and I'm just gonna kind of wiggle them in there. And it's also important for you to know, I'm not pressing the brow hair down. That's what gives the laminated look, which I think is absolutely beautiful. It's just not something I normally do. And then I'm just going to kind of follow and keep doing this a couple times and follow the way that my brow hair grows. Again, it's really important at this stage to not really press into, you see, this will look like this in a second, but it's really important to not press in there because you're going to disturb all of that product you already have on the brow. And that kind of defeats the purpose. I let it sit for 5 or 7 seconds. Then I just kind of sculpt them and push them the way that they naturally grow. Sometimes at this stage you can find a little gap because the brow hair has shifted and we have it laid down where we want it. So we just go back in with our brow pen. And there you have the rose-sired eyebrow. Save this for later so you can reference it.